Alexa, what happens when we die?
Everyone has their own views on that question.
Yeah, I got mine. Today, a message of hope after a loss from the wonderful Disney Pixar film Coco. That and more, especially about celebrity narcissism on Cinema Unites the World. Welcome. What's going on? I'm Jordan Rockwell. Thank you all so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button below. And as I wish to grow the channel, email me at cinemaunitestheworld@gmail.com. Follow me at Cinema Unites the World on the Instagram, and of course twitter.com/JERcinema. Even though I strongly suggest you do what I'm doing right now, which is for the past 2 weeks and change, I don't have any social media on my phone anymore, and I don't even have email either, thanks to advice from Tim Ferriss. Thank you very much for that advice, Tim. I automate it again with TweetDeck and later, and that's what I do. Once again, these folks in Silicon Valley spend, well, bless their hearts, spend millions of dollars, as Tim points out, to addict us, to compulsively check. And I'll come clean and say I am guilty of that too. My wife called me out on that. I'm glad she did. Compulsively checking social media. They get Netflix? No. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Julie. But before we get to Coco, I'm working my way through Yellowstone. I'm in the middle of season 3. And after season 3 is done, I'm going to watch all of 1883 and then do season 4 of Yellowstone, then 1923, and then season 5 of Yellowstone. I've been procrastinating because I'm all about cinema and film and the Criterion Channel and whatnot, but Taylor Sheridan is a brilliant writer and worth your time. And this is certainly cinema on television, and there was an exchange between the other day on episode 4 of season 3 between Chief Rainwater and his second-in-command, Mo, regarding a so-called hit woman that they're going to hire to fight their battles for them. And Mo says she's evil. And Chief Rainwater says she's not evil, she's angry, she's just trying to punish the world for what it did to her. And Mo responds, yeah, that's what evil means. It reminds me of the quote, when going on a quest for revenge, first dig 2 graves. And I'm reminded here of Black Panther, King T'Challa. What's his name right? We all miss you, Chadwick. But in Captain America Civil War, he realizes that in trying to avenge his father's death, it's going to destroy him. He says to the man who murdered his father, vengeance has consumed you, and it's consuming the Avengers, and I'm done letting it consume me. Great advice, everybody. And I will be discussing Black Panther later on. There's a lot of great scenes to teach us some great stuff. Back to Yellowstone. Mo's comment, that's what evil is. Maybe he's right. Someone could be hurting you because of something that happened to them by someone who looks like you. It's still hurting you, and therefore still evil. Maybe Ernesto de la Cruz had a bad childhood. I don't care. I don't care about a narcissistic, fame-hungry sociopath like Ernesto de la Cruz because our villain. Because okay, ease back, Jordan. Stop. How about some positivity first? Coco is a great movie. I'm going to skip over plot details, so if you haven't seen it, hit the pause button and go watch it. You won't be sorry. If you watched it, good. Welcome back. So what can I say about Coco that hasn't already been said? I mean, I said that last week about Up and Shawshank Redemption. And first of all, Miguel, our main character, our protagonist, is very relatable to anyone who's attempting an artistic endeavor. course he is. I mean, he's in any story you have a protagonist who wants something, and then something or someone is in his way. And initially, it's his su abuela, his grandmother. Also, Ernesto de la Cruz is the villain. He's evil. We'll get to him in a second. But Abuelita is not a villain. She's not evil, but she's doing something very bad. So that's my middle ground. She's misguided. She's an antagonist, but not a villain. No music! We know why. To the backstory. The lesson here is that not everyone in your family is necessarily rooting for you, or they're misguided. Sometimes they want to control you, and Miguel is a good example of someone who has to follow the beat of his own drum, the melody of his own soul, to reach his full potential. And in doing so, he redeems his family's musical spirit and brings music back. Yeah, I'm of the opinion that's one of the reasons this film is so compelling, because the music is brilliant, but the bizarre plot setup is that they don't allow music. Music is a gift from God. It tells me that a benevolent extraterrestrial species would find us and look at how we're all at each other's throats in 2023, but then go, wait a minute, they have art, they have music. It's just that Coco shows the light and dark side of art. One is based out of true love, the other out of self-hate. Anyway, back to Coco. So Miguel redeems his family with the help of his great-great-grandfather, great-great-grandmother, and all of his ancestors. And if you watched last week's show, you know that we friends of Courtney and Ian are still grieving. We all are, and there is no true cure for grief. I have come to accept that, and I will never stop grieving people that I truly love. That's the bad news. The okay news is that there's no way around it, and the only way really around it is to love no one and have no one in your life, have no family, no relationships, no friendships, nothing. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that with compassion and empathy, I don't think Chelsea Handler is happy. What do you think? You tell me. But Miguel's abuelita is the matriarch of his family, and it's a tight family, and a good family, a value-giving family, making choose, and sometimes individuals with tight families want to branch out into something else, and the matriarch or patriarch or leader won't necessarily like that. But here we are. Anyone who's tried anything artistic usually is this person like Miguel. Bottom line is, if you are Miguel, and I know I am, you got to go for it. And yet I can admit to you right now that I'm not going to kind of have the career I would have if I didn't have a family and also at my age of 45. I accept that. I also accept that maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I will. But I love this guy, Hector. We think he's a trickster at first. Turns out he's not. Or he is by necessity. Muy guapo, see? But he has an incredible talent and a love of songwriting. But his love for his wife and daughter are greater. His fatal mistake was not recognizing the narcissist in his musical partner, Ernesto. Ernesto does not have true feelings. He's a real sociopathic narcissist. Just don't. And there are a lot of them in our business, let's face it. Good piece of advice for you is see people for who they are, not for who you want them to be. People like Ernesto depend on you not seeing who they are. It was heartbreaking and educational to listen to Matthew Perry read his book to us and admit that early in his career, he said to God, please let me be famous. It's not healthy, and Mr. Perry knows that, and that's what he's telling us. I also remember Bill Murray, who's been in the news lately for being a toxic a-hole, and anyway, saying that if you want to be rich and famous, try being rich first and see if that works. So, consider the following. Being famous does have its perks. Being a rich, famous celebrity has its perks. You get in any restaurant you want at any time. You have an ocean of people. You have Oh yeah, ocean of people who love you. You get a lot of awesome stuff for free, and no one says no to you. That's the good news, and that's about it. Here's the bad news. No one says no to you. Certainly you can go outside and walk around, but there are consequences. People will stare at you. You're always looking over your shoulder. Can't trust anybody. Not really. What do they really want? You are a target. Congratulations. There is now an entire ocean and an entire nation of people who, full of people who hate your guts and want to see you fail. Any mistake you've ever made in your past, especially now, will come out. Not if, but when. And you'll have these paparazzi parasites following you around all day because your publicist told them to and told you that you need to allow this to stay relevant, because remember, your publicist, your agent, your manager, they got to make money off of you. If you're lucky, you can. You know, I always thought those vultures at TMZ were in it for the money, and they are. But they work with the publicists. My client's going to be at Spago. Click, click. So, still want to be famous? Yeah. Back to Coco. Grief. You don't get over it. You learn to live with it. The scar hardens and becomes your armor with hard work. That's my daughter back there. I love it. And with the attitude of onward. Onward. It's hard work. I'll always be doing it myself. If I'm lucky, my children will leave the home at age 18 and seek their fortune and glory and have families of their own. I read on the internet the other day that one day your parents picked you up for the last time. I remember chatting with a neighbor of mine while walking my son when he was about 2 in his stroller, and I said, how do you prepare for the kids leaving the nest? And she said, start now. She had 2 sons, one in boarding school, the other one in college. I remember of August of 2019, my son was about 1.5 years old, and my wife and I were very lucky, very blessed to be invited to a destination wedding in Sri Lanka. We had a whole bunch of credit card miles piled up, and we used them to get upgraded to first class. And we stayed at a 5-star resort. Oh, hang on a minute. Watch Chris Rock's Tambourine special. I'll leave it there. It's about Jamaica. Jamaica's nice. You know what I'm talking about if you've seen it. But we had 8 incredible days at this resort. I got to ride an elephant. Got to meet a cobra. Woo, hello. Got to meet new friends. Got to see 2 friends of mine get married. I got to go to Sri Lanka. It was incredible. And I missed my son Jack every single day. What helped me get through those 8 days was to reframe it in my head. Imagine if I didn't miss him every single day. The night that my wife and I left for the airport, I held him in my arms. I kissed him on the cheek about 1,000 times, and I sang "Remember Me" to him 4 times. It's the most beautiful song I've ever heard in my life. My favorite part of this song is when Hector sings, "Until you're in my arms again, remember me." Yeah. Coco was a wonderful film, and it came to me at the right time. It helped me accept losing my cat. Losing a pet hurts. It's not nearly the same thing as losing a child. It never will be. But it still hurts. I adopted Chloe, or I should say she adopted me in May of 2002. And from there until 2010, as my late father put it, I did a lot of interviewing. And Chloe's like, nope, not you. Nope, you're nice, but nope, you. In 2010, when my wife, Julie, came into my life. Chloe was the only family I had. This cat was the only family I had out here until I met Julie. And so one day, my wife is about 6 months pregnant with Jack, and she calls me and says, honey, I found a lump at the base of her tail. And sure enough, it was a cancerous tumor. And I said, God, please just let Chloe live long enough to meet my son. She did. Reframe. What am I grateful for? she met my son. We got her some cancer treatments, and she hung in there as long as she could. And I'll never forget the day we brought our son home from the hospital, and I took Jack out to meet her, and yeah, not bad. I like to think that that's why Chloe came into my life, was for that moment. Chloe died on October 31st, 2018. And right before that, I saw Coco for the first time. And how about Robert Lopez and Kristen Anderson Lopez and their beautiful songs, isn't it? Isn't it just wonderful to have a husband and wife team writing songs together? I love that. But all the songs in this film are brilliant and beautiful, especially Remember Me. And the last one, Proud Corazon, is always going to remind me of Chloe. In that, say that I'm crazy or call me a fool. The last time I dreamed about you. So in the month leading up to October 31st, her condition just went downhill, and she got a second tumor in her mouth. And one day the vet said, it's time. That was October 30th. And so we took her home, and I bawled my eyes out. And you could see her mouth is distorted. She couldn't keep food down. I was just like breaking down, and I sobbed, and I screamed, "You took my mom, you took my dad, you're gonna take my cat, you're not taking me, you're not taking my soul. You can't hurt me." I was like beating my chest, daring the fates to do that. I got all this energy out, and then I felt my mama Chloe say, son, we got one more day together. Why don't we just have some fun? Yeah. In November of 2002, I took Chloe on a plane to Baltimore to meet my mom, who wanted to meet her, and while she was still alive, thank you very much, Lou Gehrig's disease. Anyway, and I forgot about this part. When I walked in on Chloe and sitting on my mom's lap, and my mom said, "Take care of my little boy for me." Yeah. Mama Chloe. Day before she crossed the Rainbow Bridge, we watched Casablanca, we watched The Shining because we felt like it, and we watched Up, of course. I had Chinese food, Italian food, and a lot of scotch and a cigar. And that night I was like, this is the last night I'm going to be with my cat. Like, should I go to sleep? Should I stay awake? And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to lie down and see what happens. And I ended up getting a little bit of sleep, and I woke up about 8 times throughout the night, and the whole time Chloe was right here in my chest, purring. And the next morning, October 31st, 2018, we had to say goodbye. I brought Jack out to say goodbye to her, and she once again crossed over my lap to get to Jack and gave him a little kitty kiss. And then my wife drove us to the vet, and I read the poem If by Rudyard Kipling out loud. It's a good poem. Google that. Check it out. As we waited. And then our wonderful vet gave Chloe the shot, and she looked up at me, and her eyes just kind of glazed over, and that was that. That night the sun set, and I walked outside, took a look at it, and it was, as you can see, the most beautiful sunset I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'd like to think, well, that was her. And I'm grateful that eventually, the day before she crossed the Rainbow Bridge, all this time I thought she was my baby, but in fact I was hers. Coco helped me realize that. Thank you, Coco. That's why I'm so determined to use cinema as a healing tool that all of us can enjoy, no matter who we are, what we identify as, or where we come from. I'm an eternal optimist. I have to be. Coco's awesome. Check this out. My wife and I got to go see it again at the Hollywood Bowl. It was extraordinary. Anything else about Coco? It's visually stunning. CinemaScope. The voice acting's great. The animation's beautiful. Michael Giacchino's score is another home run. And the songs by the Lopez's, it's a gift to the world. And so thank you. Thank you all who made this wonderful film. you as a filmmaker, we're salespeople. We sell our products to the public to enjoy, and I'm a big believer in the Procter & Gamble model, which is great product, fair price. And I want to go even further and have all my customers say, I got more than my money's worth. I got value. And that's what a great film like Coco can do. So that's about all for today. Some good news before we sign off here. Journalism 101 has been accepted into the Golden State Film Festival. Our screening will be Tuesday, February 28th at 9:30 p.m. in Theater 5 at the TCL Chinese Theater. Also coming up this Thursday, February 23rd at 7:30 p.m. at the Sorry Not Sorry Bar and Grill in Santa Monica. Opening that party. Be there, be square. Hats and bracelets for Cinema Unites the World with some new stuff coming up soon. Available at jordanrockwell.com. What else is going on? As I mentioned last week, I passed my FAA written exam, and now I am studying for my check ride. I'm really excited to give that a shot. I'm also looking for an agent, manager, representation for my acting career, and of course, I'm always looking for work. That's the job of an actor, is to audition, and then if you get the job, that's a bonus. So yeah, thank you all so much for coming by. As I mentioned last week, I'll be discussing other films that I think could unite us, like the recent Devotion with Jonathan Majors and Glenn Powell, Count of Monte Cristo, It's a Wonderful Life, Black Panther, and so on. So thank you very much for stopping by, and always remember, cinema unites the world. Have a great day.